Hi, and welcome to The Amber Show. I'm Amber Urquhart of the Willow community, and every 2 weeks we talk about the latest in tech and crypto. Today, in Taipei, we're sitting down with Edward Guo, a Bitcoin miner, and Andy Wang of Aiden Tech. Let's go. So, hi guys, welcome to The Amber Show, and today we have a very special guest here. They're also good friends of mine. That's why it's going to be a fun one. So, let's start by introductions of Edward and Andy. Let's start with Andy.
Okay. Again, thank you, Amber, for inviting us. I'm Andy. I'm from Taiwan, basically, and I'm a founder or management partner for Bamboo Venture Partners in Israel. And also, I co-founded this company in Taiwan called Aiden Tech with my partner, Edward. And we are doing business and focus on cybersecurity in terms of Bitcoin transaction safety. And also, people hire us for mining and also trading. So we're glad to be here and hopefully to share some ideas or insights that we know to everyone.
Thank you. I love it. And how about you, Edward?
Hi, my name is Edward, and thanks for Amber to invite us. Like Andy said, that we had a company in Taiwan, and myself is main focus on cryptocurrency, or maybe we can call it just focus on Bitcoin, because like I will say myself is a Bitcoin believer.
Maximalist, you can say it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm happy that here in Taipei, it's very rare to come across people that have been in the Bitcoin industry for such a long time, and also people that are true Bitcoin believers like myself and from very early days. So thank you so much for having you guys today. I think just because a lot of our audience, doesn't really have the background knowledge on Bitcoin and mining, maybe you can start by giving a really simple catch up on how you got interested in mining and what is it exactly does it entail, Edward?
Why we know Bitcoin? Well, I would like to say something like, I know it will be a big thing in the beginning, but the truth is, I just come across the news when I was in high school. That's very simple.
But I think because I know you were doing something else, like 3D modeling, and then you made some money, or how did it start?
Well, just like I said, I just come across the news on the internet, and at the moment that I'm layout found for 3D printing and drone, like the quad drone. And so I was thinking this is a way to make some money. So I just dig in, and as a student, I don't.
And what year was this, and what materials or hardware did you need?
Then let me think. It's a long time. I think
2013,
2013,
12, 13.
I think 14. I think it's 14. So just like I said, at that moment I don't have a lot of money. So the easiest way for me to join the Bitcoin is the mining. At that moment, it's not now, but at that moment, the mining is the cheapest way to get the Bitcoin. Because I remember at that time, a second-handed used miner, the ASIC miner of the Bitcoin, only cost about $100 or $200 US, maybe more. I forgot. But it's still affordable for a student. Yeah.
And how does it work? Just for people who don't know, how do you mine Bitcoin in the beginning?
In the beginning, you mean the 2009, the very beginning, or at
your beginning?
Oh, my beginning.
You take the
What is it? We have to buy a miner. We call it miner, but it's not actually a people who is mining for you. It's a machine. Yeah, the machine. It's look like a. I'll say it looks like a brick, aluminum brick, and inside is full of ASIC chip. ASIC chip is a chip that's designed to perform a specific job.
And they are made in Taiwan?
At that moment, wait. Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah.
Cool. So I think that's how you got into the whole mining, and that's like a brief entry into mining. So I want to know more about the progress of your early days and get to some exciting stuff that you were doing. So how did you lead from mining into Bitcoin forking expertise?
No, I'm not Bitcoin forking expertise, but I would say, for the start, I'm just a miner, ordinary miner. I have the machine, and I work for. I take cake. Sorry, I sell 3D printer to make money to pay for the electricity fee for the miner. So keep all my coin. I never sell it. Yeah, I never sell my coin at the moment. And later, I go into college, and the time come to like 2017. At the moment, the Bitcoin itself is going to. They have a issue about Bitcoin transaction. People are saying it's too slow because Bitcoin has a mechanism that it will produce a block in every 10 minutes. So no matter how much transaction fee you pay, you still have to wait for 10 minutes to make your transaction be confirmed by the blockchain. And Bitcoin has a block limit of 1 megabyte. That means every block can only contain 1 megabyte of transaction in size. That doesn't mean 1 million transaction. No, that doesn't mean that. It means you can store only 1 megabyte of transaction information in the block. So people are discussed about they are going to expand it, like make it to 2 megabyte or 4 megabyte, something like that. And some Bitcoin believers believe that it will make Bitcoin not that popular or not that easy to host, because when the whole block size increasing, it means when you want to run a Bitcoin wallet, I mean the very ordinary wallet, it's not something like it's an app installed in your phone or you have a hardware wallet. No, it's the Bitcoin node, the node wallet, the very fundamental of Bitcoin. It will take more than 200 gigabytes of your hard drive. If you increase every block size, the hard drive room required will be increased rapidly. So it will make normal people not willing to host their own node because it costs money. If you rent a server like from Amazon, AWS, or some brand like DigitalOcean, hard disk space is cost by every gigabyte you use. So if you do that, it will be very expensive. So some of people refuse to expand the block size, and some others they want to increase the block size. So, well, it's in their own interest because the Bitcoin transaction is fulfilling. It's not.
You want to say it in Chinese? It's okay. No.
No. I'm
it's okay.
thinking. I'm thinking.
Okay. So is this the reason why you in 2000 you started in getting involved in the forks? Is this
Yeah, this
Okay.
it's like 前奏.
the history of it? Okay. So tell me, how did you get into from mining to interested in Bitcoin forking?
Okay, so I'm a miner, and at that moment, the Bitcoin isn't very popular. But when the time come to 2017, the Bitcoin price start to surge. So many people joined, and they are they don't really know how to decrease their transaction fee. So, which cause they all use high transaction fee, and they think the Bitcoin is expensive for use. Like every time I want to transfer $100 worth of Bitcoin, I need to pay more than 20 to transaction it. And so the Bitcoin Core is a team that have maintains the whole Bitcoin code from beginning to now. They come up with a solution called segways, which means it will put whole in the Bitcoin transaction information will contain the address you want to transact to, the amount, and a lot of signature and cryptographic stuff. I don't know how to say that in easy to understand. Just it's contain a lot of information. So they want to split it to take a part of information away from the block and store it in a second layer, but it's not really a second layer of the blockchain. So they call segways is segregated witness. Okay, so I don't just say, and in the result, you can contain more transaction in the same 1 megabyte block. Yeah, the Bitcoin has a limit size of 1 megabyte per block. And another party, it's led by Bitmain. Bitmain is the company who manufacture ASIC miner. At the moment, they are the number one company. We will say they are the head of the Bitcoin industry, or for the miner industry.
This is still 2017.
Yeah,
Bitmain is ahead of mining. Okay.
Yeah. And they say, oh no, we don't want segways. They didn't explain why, but we know why. Because if you implement Segway into Bitcoin blockchain, the efficiency of their miner will decrease. Because I don't know how to say that, they cheat on mining. Or it's not cheat, it's just a way to make their ASIC chips can work in higher efficiency. It's not cheating, it's not cheating. It's just their technique to do that. So if you implement segways, their advantage will lost. So they say, oh no, we don't want segways. We want to expand the block size. Well, for me, at the moment, I don't support either side because my miner is made by Bitmain. But I kind of like the segways concept because it's more like tech stuff, something nerd would like. I don't know how to say that. So I just wait and then they have a conference in New York. They signed a paper called New York Agreement. Say that they will put Bitcoin into segways and with 2 megabyte block. Say they have negotiated and said, okay, you want segways, but we still want bigger block. And they signed that agreement. But 2 months after that agreement was signed, the Bitmain said, no, we don't. We still want to have a bigger block size. So they put a hard fork on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash was born.
So that was the beginning of Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, that's
first fork of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's the beginning of the Bitcoin Cash.
And that's really how were they able to do this fork of Bitcoin successfully?
The truth is, everyone can do a Bitcoin fork, as long as they have the knowledge of how to compile their own node. The Bitcoin is an open source project, so you can get the source code from GitHub. It's free and it's open, and there are a lot of commenting there and a lot of guide to teach you how to build your own node. And Bitmain has the mining power that we call hash rate, the hashing power of the miner. So you have the code and you have the miner. They just need to flip on the switch, and they get a hard fork.
Interesting. And I think Bitcoin Cash was, one of the still existing quite successful forks of Bitcoin. So can you please explain in the intro to how you got involved with Bitcoin Gold? I think this is the second Bitcoin fork, right?
Yeah, the Bitcoin Gold is the second Bitcoin fork.
So what was your involvement?
Well, I will say that I'm a core tester Bitcoin, the very early stage of the Bitcoin code has part tested by me. Yeah, I just a tester and I'm an early miner too, and I know the develop team and start and have some little project with them. And
Were they all based like globally, or were a lot of them here in Taiwan? Or
now they're globally. I never met them in person.
but you met the founder, right?
Yeah, I met the founder, the Jack Liao, the guy who say that he's Satoshi the second.
Can you give some background on the project for people who don't know Bitcoin Gold and how it was able to fork and how it was set up?
Well, the concept is very easy. Like, why Bitmain can do the hard fork and make it successful, survive. It's because they have mining power. They own a lot of miner. They own the production line of the ASIC chip. Or they don't own the production line, but they have a lot of mining chip. So that's why they can do whatever they want. So the concept is easy. If we make Bitcoin not mined by ASIC, we make it back and mined by GPU, the graphic card. So Bitcoin Gold, the BTG, G is stand for GPU.
Doesn't stand for actual gold.
Yeah, that doesn't sound for actual code. It just, I don't know. I don't know who make this name, but yeah. In the beginning, the project called BTC GPU. When you go to the GitHub to see the project name, it's still BTC GPU. It's not Bitcoin Gold.
Oh wow! So how was it like meeting Jack and working with the team?
Well, first, I know Jack first, then I know the team. He introduced me to the team, and we have, like I said, we did some cooperate. And the Bitcoin Go had launched, and in that time, after Bitcoin Go launched, there are a lot of like Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin something, Bitcoin God, I forgot. A lot of stuff, a lot of fork have.
But in the beginning, you saw that this was a solution to enhancing and fixing problems that you thought were relevant in the core Bitcoin
Yeah,
code.
yeah. At the moment that we believe that it shouldn't let individual hold too much mining power.
So what happened with Bitcoin Gold at the height? Was it successful? Was it not? How did you feel about the experience?
Well, I will say maybe it's because Bitmain they made the new ASIC miner using the same mining algorithm as Bitcoin Gold. So they now they have the mining power, so they are easy to perform a tag we call 51% attack. That means when you control the 50 more than 51% of the whole network's hashing power, then you can do the double spend attack on the blockchain. So from that time, the Bitcoin Gold die. I say it's die, but it's not. Actually, it's still here now, and it's worth like $90 for now.
So how much of this gold did you own at one time, and what was the height like? And was there a moment when when they performed this attack, or how did it go down?
Well, how many I owned? I didn't remember the actual number, but I believe more than 9,000. More than 9,000 coin at the peak.
What was one coin worth at the peak?
You say the all-time high of Bitcoin Gold is very close to $300 in global. It's like I remember it's have reached $600 in Korea, but it's a closed market, so I don't think it count.
But why would Jihan or somebody want to attack your fork?
No, because we said we want to anti-ASIC. I think that's the slogan itself is a threat for some person.
But did this slogan take off, or was it just more like an underground thing, or were there a lot of people that you brought together on this like anti thing?
Yeah, before the attack, we have a lot of people like agree our view, but after the attack, those people like realize it doesn't work. Any kind of algorithm they can make the ASIC of it. So the believer are start leaving, and I left.
You left also.
Yeah, I left also because
Can you talk about the experience in Taipei of like of Jack Law that was all over YouTube?
it's not all over YouTube. And there's a like we can call it's a summit held by Yang Mingse. I don't know. It's in what is English?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
Taiwan
local club
Yeah, it's
and
local
host a conference or summit. Yeah.
Yeah, host a summit of blockchain, and they invite Craig White, the one who claimed himself Satoshi Nakamoto, and they also invite Jack Liao, and those two people have issue.
Well, who was kicked out of the event? I know one of them was kicked out of the event. Was it Jack or was it Craig?
It's Craig, but the Craig said he left himself. No one kicked him out. Yeah, but the last word they said is, "You leave or I leave."
So he left willingly.
Yeah, he.
We can leave it there.
Yeah, that's the.
That's not the point.
So how? Okay, so did you feel like this was a loss, like it wasn't successful, or how did you feel after this involvement in this project?
The truth is, at the moment, I didn't feel anything, because the Bitcoin is still very, near 20,000 USD at that moment, and I also held an amount of Bitcoin, so the loss at that time isn't really a thing for me, but
Wow.
that time, but the things change, Yeah,
The market changed.
the market changed.
So, how many machines did you have at your all-time high, and where were they based?
I had 50 Bitmain Antminer S9 at China, and I have more than 92, I think, 92 at Canada.
Okay, so none here in Taiwan.
Yeah, it's not here in Taiwan because Taiwan's the law about electricity is very strict.
So tell us more about. So you did one Bitcoin fork, gold. It's still kind of around kicking. What was your second experience trying to do another Bitcoin fork, and why did you decide to do that? You've already seen all of these fail.
Well, it's also still Jack Liao. Yeah,
You were still friends with him.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say that.
So how did you get? What was the second fork? I think it's called New York, right?
Yeah, it's called Bitcoin New York, and
Is it because of this meeting in New York, pre-Bitcoin
Yeah.
Gold, or another meeting in New York?
No, it's the very first. It's not the very first, but the one that they have signed a New York agreement
Okay.
about the segways and 2 megabyte.
So
block
what
size.
was Bitcoin New York based on? Would people have known it, or is it very nobody's heard of it? I've heard of Bitcoin Gold, but I'd never heard of Bitcoin New York before.
Yeah, because we didn't really actually do any
Marketing?
marketing about it because, like we said, the Bitcoin Go has been attacked by hashing power, and we decided to build an algorithm that is ASIC proof, really ASIC proof. Then in the Ethereum, another cryptocurrency, Ethereum, in the Ethereum community, there is I think it's a girl who had proposed a kind of algorithm we call programmable proof of work algorithm. And-
ProgPow.
Yeah,
Is that
ProgPow.
How do you call it?
Yeah, we call it ProgPow. And we still have a team, so we try to follow. That girl is, I don't know should I call her a girl? I don't know. The one who proposed ProgPow didn't really do the coding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a concept. It's still more like a paper. And me and I'm still the test. I won't say anything because the actual developer don't really want to let people know their name. Just a group of people.
Got together to do Bitcoin New York
Yeah,
in New York.
yeah.
Okay, so what was the premise of it? How is it different from the gold fork?
Yeah, the Gold Fork
How do you do a Bitcoin fork? You have to have a lot of people, or
yeah.
what's
Uh,
needed?
Like the Gold Fork, we use equal hash is an algorithm to mine Bitcoin gold, and that algorithm is compromised. So we develop a new algorithm called ProcPow. It's a dynamic algorithm, so you can't, or you can, but you can make the ASIC of it, but the ASIC will be very like general, like we call CPU. It's a general processing unit. It's not ASIC anymore, so the cost will be very high. So that's the way we prevent it being developed an ASIC of it. And then
So it's also a continuation of the anti-ASIC kind of movement.
yeah,
Did it take off, or what happened?
well the development is complete and the chain is still working now. The whole Bitcoin New York chain and the ProcPow mining is still on now.
But now it's like connected to Ethereum, right?
No, it's not connected to Ethereum. It's a standalone blockchain, but still, we don't have much participator about it.
So do you think it will take off?
I don't know. Actually, I really don't know because for now, people don't really believe in fork. People don't really believe in forking anymore. They have accept the situation that ASIC is the king now, and Bitmain isn't the head of the miner now. They are another, like we call microbeat. It's another manufacturer, and we have Xingdong. It's a company in China. They also make
So there's
ASIC miner.
other players in the game
Yeah.
now, but also
Yeah.
maybe let's start by also explaining more if there's anything that people new to Bitcoin should take away from like the Bitcoin white paper and all the concepts about attacks and double spend. Can you kind of explain a few more of these main concepts about the core white paper to people?
Okay. Okay. I think I have only one advice for the new people come to Bitcoin is to hold your own private key. I think that's a very key point. Normal people don't really need to worry about double spend or don't really need to worry about some like hashing attack, something like that.
They're not going to be attacked
Yeah.
unless they have a
Yeah.
lot of.
Yeah, but the very key part is you have to hold your own coin. Having an account in exchange isn't mean you have your own coin.
Okay, so Andy, let's start with you and tell us how you got into Bitcoin. And I know that together, not only are you guys doing this transaction, but let's talk about the trading side of your business.
Okay. So compared to Edward, he began his career like in very early days from mining from 2013. It was the first time the price went over $1,000. For me, actually, it's quite late compared to him. The first time I heard of Bitcoin is when I was in Israel, 2016-17. All my friends around me are like, Andy, you have to know Bitcoin. You have to go to this party, that party. You can find out all kinds of party that hosts in Israel, in Tel Aviv, on any building's rooftop. There's a Bitcoin party there. I have no idea what it is. And people is like, no matter what you do, you have to put money in it, period. And until end of 2017, some of my friends, they began doing the ICOs. I have no idea what it is. And I found out they're just quickly raising a lot of funds, a lot of capitals around the world from Bitcoin. And that's where it began, like, raise the awareness of me that I have to know this. I think this will have a huge impact in the future, no matter it's in ICO's way or whatever. But at the time, I know, like, I have to know this. So when I come back to Taiwan back in that days, I asked a closer from my mind, and I said, do you know anyone in Taiwan that knows Bitcoin? And my friend's like, Andy, it happens that I know someone in this university, and he is really, really good at it. And I was like, who is? And at that time was very, very funny is that my friend's like, see, just across the road, there's a tall guy standing there. His name is Edward, and you have to know him. And that's how I met Edward at that time. And we literally just say hi at online, and we find time to meet up together to talk about Bitcoin.
Cool. And can you talk a bit about your you on the side you have an Israeli fund, and I know maybe you should tell everyone the school you go to because I think you guys are both from the same school and from the same activities.
Oh, actually, at the time we're from different school. I'm from Tsinghua, and he's studying Baker,
Taipei Tech.
Taipei Tech, and for me it's like Tsinghua University. And I met him at Taipei Tech.
Front door.
Yeah, from door across the street. And actually, at that time, I was thinking that after I literally spent every month to meet up Edward to ask him all kinds of questions to learn what is the technology behind it, what's the thing I have to know, and I also started thinking about that because my main focus is still in Israel of venture capital, but at the same time, I'm also searching that there should be opportunities in blockchain or Bitcoin. And at that time, I was the only Bitcoin believer in Taiwan I know, and so we hang out very often. We find time to think what's the future of Bitcoin, and until 2019, that is the time that we decided to really to join force to start our own startup and to begin with cybersecurity focus.
I thought the first focus was on the trading fund side. So can you explain that also?
Yeah. Okay. So at the beginning, actually, it's both. Like trading is a fun part and easy to earn money. So at the beginning, we start trading Bitcoin and also Bitcoin future back in that time. And at that time, after our self-trading, obviously, Edward is more experienced than me. And until 2 years ago, we started using like machine to trade for us. So we're like semi-auto trading.
But I think that's very rare. Usually miners stick to mining and then they partner with like people who are like quants who to help them to hedge the risk. So why did you guys decide to do also on the trading side? Is it because you have a financial background or you're just so well versed at everything, Edward?
Well, in the beginning, I just trade for fun, because like Bitcoin future, the BitMax, the exchange, it's really like a game in the beginning. Just you think, oh, Bitcoin is going to raise, or it's going to be dumped. Then like it's just like a gamble for me in the beginning. That's it. But later, Andy come to me and ask, "Hey Edward, do you know anything about trading?" I just, trading. Yeah, I think I know it little, and take out a record and see, hey, the performance isn't really bad. So,
but you started this trading in 2019. Do you think that it was your skills as traders or just like you hit the beginning of bull market here? I'm sure your clients are satisfied.
I would say we, in terms of trading, we really do it really step by step, and due to the way that we think is. We do every trade based on the information we receive, and also with confidence to put an order. And in terms of the bull market, it's definitely we have no clue at that time the price would raise so high.
But is your strategy like buy and hold? So what's your performance for this year?
Basically, we're like long-term holding Bitcoin. Most of our portfolio are holding Bitcoin, and we trade. We put our order on like future to loan our to buy a loan contract occasionally. So the performance is quite good, and also we made the target or beyond the target that we.
You can
we
just tell
promised.
us how many X.
Well,
Come on,
couple X.
just a couple.
Just a couple
Yesterday
X.
we had a fund that said they 200X.
From for how long?
I don't know, this year or something like that. So are you at that?
That's normal. So actually, back in 2020, I think last year is the craziest time that we have ever done. There's once even 1 month we down like 300% 1 month, but we think that it's too crazy and we cannot sleep because we spend too much time watching the market. So right now, actually, we're more trading like rationally. we can tell like we are targeting 20% a month.
How is that going to be long going? 20% if like the market is. What about next year if there's like a change in the market? How are you going to change the strategy?
I think the strategy changed from time to time. The reason why we put 20% is because we think if we do like if we put like one future contract every 2 weeks, actually in average the return is like 5 to 10%. If it's a long contract, include the price raise from Bitcoin, the total earning will be 15% to 20%. So actually every month you just need to do one trade. If the Bitcoin price goes up.
But let's be honest here. You've already sold everything, all your mining equipment, all your coins,
Yeah.
you've liquidated everything, right?
We haven't sold Bitcoin yet, but we sold all our mining machines.
Oh, just the mining machines.
Just
not, you
mining
didn't, Not the
machines.
fund. The fund is still going.
No, actually, because back in 2019, by the end of the time, me and Edward spent a lot of time to analyze if it's a good price to enter the mining market. And every mining market, if you're in a mining market, you will know that 1 year is one period of investment. So
1 or 2 years.
1 to 2 years the top.
Can you talk a bit about the, what's the deal with how do you guarantee return from mining? It's all about the bottom, right?
So we cannot guarantee anything, including trading. We don't guarantee anything. We tell all our investor, family, friends that what's the risk involved. The reason why we begin with mining is for investors because first of all, there's a bottom of mining price, and the price of Bitcoin shouldn't go below that price. Otherwise, the whole system might shut down. The risk will shut down. So even though it go below the price, you still come back up. So I would say mining is not like a crazy major return business, but we're talking about it's a lower risk to lose money.
So how is mining different today than before? And are there cost-related issues? How is it affecting the bottom line?
You want me to? Okay. I think there's quite many perspective we can see the mining market. First of all, the technology we see. I won't tell. Do you want to talk about the bottom price for mining Bitcoin now?
Okay. Yeah. You see, we always say Bitcoin is a blockchain, right? And we also say, from time to time, they will produce a new block to contain the transaction information. And that block is, we're going to say it's mined. We say the block is being mined. That means we need the hashing power to produce a new block. So if there's no mining power, so there's no new block. When there's no new block, you don't transact anything. The Bitcoin is dead. And now we have, I think yesterday, the total mining power have reached all-time high. So now the mining power is very, very high. So the Bitcoin difficulty is very high too. And the difficulty is a way Bitcoin to keep itself remain 10-minute block. If the difficulty is too low, it will become like 2 seconds or 1 second a new block is produced. That's not what the Satoshi designed in the beginning. He want to make it remain 10-minute block. So there is a thing we called difficulty adjustment algorithm, which is it will adjust every 2000 about more than 2,000 block. I forgot the actual number. I think it's for 2,106 or 2,160. I forgot the actual number. But every about 2 weeks, we turn it to the actual human time. It's 2 weeks. The mining difficulty will change. So if the mining difficulty changed too slow, if the Bitcoin price drop below the, like we say, the miner you need to feed it with electricity, and electricity costs a lot of money. That's your mining cost. If the Bitcoin drop below the mining cost, most of the miner will shut down their machine. So now we say there are three major company making mining machine, and their model are very similar. It's different brand, but the mining power, the power consumption are very similar. So when a miner when the price drop below the mining cost, it doesn't mean it's just below the mining cost for one or two people. We are saying about more than 90% of the industry. So at that moment, if you have the lowest electricity price, you can still survive. But for those who don't have advantage on the electricity price, they have to shut down their machine.
I have a question regarding that. So, it's true that China is banning mining in Inner Mongolia. Where else do you think the next mining spot will be for miners, and how would this impact since China and Inner Mongolia now produce the most hash rate?
Well, the truth is, yes, China is banning in Inner Mongolia because they are using fire to generate electricity. So it causes a lot of pollution for China. So yes, but the truth is, in other place like Xinjiang or Sichuan, the mining is still going on. They didn't ban it. So they just need to transfer their miner from Mongolia to Xinjiang.
So
and
you're saying
Sichuan.
that even if it's banned in Inner Mongolia, they're still going to mine in China,
Yeah.
secret parts of China. Can you talk a little bit about this from like how is it? It's taking up a lot of electricity. It's affecting global warming and issues. How do you feel about that?
Well, if you use fire to produce electricity, yes, I believe it will affect the environment. Yeah, but in Sichuan they are using water to generate electricity. So I think it's kind of green power, isn't it? So
But do you feel like everybody should get into mining, or should it just be like a few people or government owned, or what do you think is the best people to get or time of people to get into it?
well, in personal view, I think there are too many miner now. Because in Bitcoin design miner or proof of work is for to protect the network security of it. But it don't need that much miner. Yeah. That's the truth. But mining is a profitable industry. So I don't think people will stop adding more hash power on it.
Yeah, I also want to echo to that. I think people do come to us to ask about the idea if it's a good timing to get involved to mining, invest in mining. In our point of view, we won't say yes or no, but if ourselves, we won't do that.
You're only being a consultant and consulting others.
Yeah, because we do see a lot of risk compared to by the end of 2019 compared to now. We see a lot of risk that for those newcomers, they don't know the risk of when you do the mining. We will tell them what the risks are, and to think twice if it's a good timing or if they want to allocate their asset in that kind of investment.
But is it fair if like one company like just owns majority of the mines globally, like a privately owned company? Do you feel like that's fair?
Look at me. I have forked the Bitcoin fork to stop this. Of course, I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
But it's reasonable. Well, I can say as long as the society is stick to socialism, capitalism, I think it's very reasonable.
Wow. Do you think that? Let's go back to the forks for a second since you brought it up. What's the future of forks?
Well, I don't think there will be any more forking.
Never. There's only going to be one Bitcoin.
Yeah, I hope so because the fork has caused too much chaos.
So you think people will stop trying to fork it?
Yeah, I think so. Because fork caused the split of the community. And for what I feel, community is everything about Bitcoin.
I like that. That's very true. Do you think that this whole Bitcoin Cash confuses people on the core message?
Of course, because the Bitcoin Cash holds the domain of BTC.com. Like keep claiming themselves are Bitcoin, so it caused a lot of confusing for people. Like I know a guy who helped people to buy Bitcoin, but instead of the real BTC, he give them BCH, and they say, "Oh, this is Bitcoin." See, you go to BTC.com and Google yourself. They say it's Bitcoin. I didn't lie to you.
So how do you think people in Taiwan can be safe for, like you're saying, kind of mining at this point isn't really an option, but, for large investors, maybe they can go more on the quant side. But what about for like new people? What's the entry point?
The entry point, you need to wait. I think, yeah, it's about waiting. Like in the beginning of 2019, at that moment, Bitcoin have reached a very low, like the price is low, and a new generation of miner just came out. I mean the 7 nanometer, the
Chip.
the chip 7 nanometer, the very new miner have came out,
Right.
and the price is low, so the miner isn't that expensive. At that time, one miner cost, I think, $3,000 only.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're saying that if it's the right time, people can still get into mining. But what are the other risks there, like fires, confiscation?
I think management. If you're an investor from Taiwan, it's very hard for you to mine in Taiwan because of the electricity fee. But think about it. If you invest let's say 10 mining machine or 5 mining machine up to let's say 100 mining machine in China, how are you gonna manage it? Who are you gonna contact? And how are you gonna protect yourself? Just based on this, you can easily tell there are so many risks based on human risk that you're unable to manage, especially in this pandemic time. So,
But what about like just buying it? Do you think now is a good time to buy? How much are you guys holding on to? Are you holding on to Bitcoin for all your wealth or yeah?
Well, that's my little secret. But I will say I won't suggest people to get all in to any kind of exit. It's not smart, and it's very risky. But I will say I think Bitcoin is a good exit for someone if they want to hold it.
I think like mining also when you mine it, besides there's a different feeling when buying it, right? When you mine, you've done the work for
Right,
it.
right.
Do you feel like it like a closer connection?
Seeing your income every day is different from just a huge income once.
Yeah.
Of course, it's different.
Yeah.
But you still need to remember the cost you paid, like the machines itself, the price of the machine. Like I said earlier, at 2019, one machine is about 2,000 US dollar. Now, it's about 10,000. It's about
And you
more
always
than
have
triple.
to update them, right? It's
Yeah.
not like one only lasts a few years.
Yeah, so that's the reason why we decide to sell our machine and don't renew it, because the price of the machine is too high, and
Yeah.
we think it's not a reasonable price.
So let's say mining is like a it's like a heavy investment. If you put in your capital in it, you have to wait for let's say 7 months to 1 year to break even, and after that time, that's the real profit coming from. So think about it. Do you think if you believe after a year the price of Bitcoin still stay 50K, 60K, then maybe it's an opportunity. But if you don't believe in it, then think twice.
I
Right?
still think that the miners that I know, it's very rare that I meet miners because they're all the kind of people that like to stay at home and don't like the attention.
Right.
So that's why it's very rare to have someone like Edward on the show today. Is that
Yeah.
like a true kind of
There are a lot of miner. They say they are miner, but actually never mine anything. We have met some people. They say, "Oh, we have a state-of-the-art miner. It's 30 times better than Big Main's machine. We only sell you with the half price of them." It's a scam.
So I see. But for people, do you feel like you would tell people that want to get into it new to buy now? Like your timing is referring to like mining timing, but what about just buying from exchanges? Is now like a good time?
Well, this is $1 million question. Actually, even in past few days, my friends asking me this question too. Is it a good time to buy in Bitcoin right now? I think, again, like we cannot tell anyone to buy because we don't know what's going to go in the future. But if you step one step back, if you believe in Bitcoin will still survive in the next 5 to 10 years, if you believe that people will recognize Bitcoin in terms of holding it as like a gold or whatever. I think it's okay to hold certain amount of Bitcoin based on your comfort. Of course, as Edward say, we don't suggest anyone to all in into Bitcoin. Even ourselves, we don't all in Bitcoin. But
Who are your clients now? Are they like high net worth people? Are they funds? Or who are these people coming into your giving you money? Your family members?
so yeah,
I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah.
what type of people are getting into the? Are you seeing entering the market now?
based on our friends, based on our capital, mostly it's like family friends. We don't help funds to manage their capital. We don't help company to manage their capital, but we only help family and friends that are really interested in. And we have a lot of talk with them to tell them what we know about Bitcoin. And after that, if they still believe in it and they still feel comfortable to hold it, then we will help them to buy in that in the price that we believe is reasonable. So this is how we trade and help them to get into the market.
So do you do the thing where you buy like a certain amount every day, dollar cost averaging? Is that what you suggest for people managing their own funds?
That's one of the way we suggest people. Ourselves we don't do it, but if for instance one of my friend, if he said he want to invest in Bitcoin himself, I was like, okay, there's all kind of strategy you can use. One of the easiest one, and also if you look into history, one of the most successful one will be you buy a certain amount every month at the same date, and then you just leave it, don't sell it. We found out this is one of the highest return you can see in the market.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
I won't say it's the highest, but it will be the easiest and safest.
So last time I saw you, you were playing with like a silver metal chip, or not chip, but can you explain that? And let's talk a bit about your security project.
It's a stainless steel, and it's a plate. I don't think it's a chip.
Green plate.
Yeah. it's one of the way you keep your private key. One of the way, and I think it's for me it's the most comfortable way because I know this is stainless steel. Even if it's fall from Taipei 101, it's only just going to cross someone's car or break someone's windows, but it won't. It will still be your private key, or your house in the fire. You just need to wait your house being burned down and just go back in and pick it up.
Yeah.
Some people, some people use it paper and pen.
No, that's not good. But okay, tell me, what is your transaction project?
My transaction project is it's a kind of second factor organization that people often use, but it's more like based on hardware. I know now they are selling a lot any kind of token that's like you have maybe people heard of YubiKey, or it's a USB key that it participate with a lot of famous company like Google, Facebook. I don't know Facebook. No, maybe not Facebook. Amazon, those websites to manage their account. So if you want to log into your Gmail, you need to have a key, insert your own computer, and unlock. That's one. But our things is similar to that, but we will make it like merging with Bitcoin itself, because Bitcoin itself is a cryptographic program. We only merged it with your account, so you can safely log into exchange account to transfer your fund from exchange to your own address.
So basically, it's a second authenticator when you're transferring from exchanges to other people, or to where?
To yourself.
Myself.
Yeah, to yourself. Because
Why only myself? Why can't it be when you're?
because they're internet phishing,
I don't understand.
网络钓鱼 internet.
Fishing,
Fishing.
internet fishing.
It's not phishing, it's phishing. Never
Phishing?
mind.
So this is to
Phishing.
to stop that, or what is the use case for this? When you're transferring out from an exchange.
Yeah, because you are human, it's very easy to be lied, right? Someone lied to you, or you're being tricked like a fake website, or you come to a wrong place.
But this is happening a lot, like there's so many attacks now and hacks, like
Right.
they on your personal keys or your when you're entering or on your website. So how does it's a software,
No, it's a hardware.
hardware, how does that stop it? How does it stop going to the wrong place?
Well, because the hardware itself, it's paired with our another we this yeah, this mechanism need to cooperate with exchange. The exchange in their server room, they need to have a corresponding machine that we built pair with the customer's hardware. So it's one-to-one pair. You cannot.
Wow, but what if I want to send it to someone else, doesn't work?
Yeah, you need to withdraw to your own wallet. Then you can transfer it from your wallet.
So this is really to save my exchange from being hacked, and really, right?
Yeah.
It's actually your use case for exchange.
Yeah, this is for exchange, and even exchange, they can't move your coin.
Yeah. So do you have what is the thought with this exchanges now? Are they eager for this kind of hardware or?
Well, that's the problem, because
We did talk to some exchange in Taiwan. We talked to their tech team. We tell them the advantage of using these devices, and eventually
they agree,
they agree with that idea, and they
But-
agree it's definitely safer.
but they think it's complicated for average user.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't think it's very easy to use, and they believe that it will make them lose their customer.
Yeah, they would rather to make it less complicated. Of course, more risk it will expose to the customer, but they're preferring that way. They're preferring that way than make it more safe.
So, but you feel like this is going to be the next step when these issues start to happen, right? That people are going to.
Yeah, I think when the blockchain cryptocurrency being accept more and more, I believe eventually someone will need this.
So that's great that you guys are focused on security. But since you're representing really maximalism and Bitcoin in Taipei, what can you tell people that don't know what that is and are every day seeing a bunch of these like other coins or potential investment? What can they be cautious of?
If you are new, I would say don't be greedy. I think that's a very, very key part. Like if someone want to scam you, or someone want to steal your coin, they are all because targeting on your greed.
Why?
Because-
you're trying to make more.
Yeah, because you're trying to make more money.
Because
But-
I think that there's a lot of these like smaller kind of fake or scams here in Taiwan. So I think people in Taiwan also need to be careful of this because, investing has been like a social activity with like KOL, with everything. So how can they be cautious?
That's my concern part is the KOL, because in 2017 to 2018, there are a lot of new KOL come out and lead people to invest in ICO, and they rapidly die in 1920.
So KOL in Taiwan
Like
is key
20.
opinion leader, like an influencer.
Yes.
So all the coins died, and a lot of people got.
They got caught, and the investor come to them, ask them to return their money, and for what I know, those KOLs, some of them have make profit from selling ICO coin.
So do you think people in Taiwan like entry to the thing they should be Bitcoin only, and why Bitcoin only?
Well, because Bitcoin is simple. It's actually compared to Ethereum, compared to like some other thing relate to blockchain. Nowadays people like to put blockchain on everything. As what I know, there is going to be a new platform like TikTok. They are going to implement. Let's say they are using blockchain to. I don't know what they are going to do with it, but they say they are using blockchain, and there are not a lot of new projects claim they are using blockchain and cryptocurrency.
But blockchain has become a key word. But with Bitcoin has no marketing department, right?
Yeah, the Bitcoin itself is very decentralized. Even for the core team, they only do the maintenance of the core code. They don't do the marketing. Actually, and day before, there is a foundation called Bitcoin Foundation, but it's dismissed. So
that's why I think it's really important to have like your point of view, especially for people who are new to the space. That to be careful and to know that Bitcoin forever, Bitcoin believer, and no more forks. Is that what you're saying?
well, yeah, that's what I was trying to say, because fork isn't really a good solution for what we see now, because even for the Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Euro, our intention are good, but there are a lot of people seeing that the fork itself is the way to another ICO. You know what I'm saying about.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting viewpoint because we do see a lot of media attention. Besides, there have been some I guess you would consider successful forks like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, but there's very rarely do we have someone with your experience that actually tried to do something that they really believed in that was really to enhance the Bitcoin core. So yeah, that's interesting, right?
Thank you.
I I just want to echo to what you guys said. I think we believe in things also when we dig into understand the the original idea of how Bitcoin was created and how the technologies offered to the world. And this is why, after a long time studying and understand how things work, and this is what we believe in. So that's the reason why we stick with Bitcoin rather than other coins.
Awesome. I love it, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Let's call it a night. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Amber.